we're fucking cocked.
Holy cow, that's crazy.
There's a video on Sunday as well. Hello sinners and nobody else is here today because this pack is only for the girls and the gays. All aboard the Lil Nas Pole Express directly to hell. Now, when I heard the listening kind, not the sheep kind, I don't know why I'm talking about sheep, there aren't actually sheep in this pack.
How was supposed to be in the video?
When I heard they were making a farming pack, I was slightly concerned because I did think we would be getting Yee Yee vibes. Sweet Home Alabama, I fucked my sister named Savannah.
Oh my god.
Now that wasn't really the aesthetic I was looking for, but the Sims team announcing a cottage theme pack during the month of Pride is in fact my aesthetic as a self-proclaimed cottage whore. And you know what? Don't be surprised if one day I just... You'll find me in a forest, and my hoo-ha will also look like a forest. Anyway, sheeple, I'm excited for this pack. I think she's gonna be packing, so let's get into the thick of it. Welcome to Creator Sim, and welcome the cast of Henemies, Miss Tisha Potatoes and Ethan Sims 3 Sims 3. An alternative universe where frenemies didn't turn into families, it turned into farmilies. You're fucking cunt. So firstly, in the hair, we have lots of old milk maiden hairstyles. I would just like to know who the first person to put their mouth on a cow's teat was. I just want to talk. And we actually got some nice masculine hairstyles, these curls, some dreads, and what I personally like to call a cowlick swoop. And of course, the iconic hairstyle belonging to none other than the purse-swinging, love-hating, crumple-bottoming bitch herself, Agnes.
She's an icon. She's a legend.
We also have a new beard, and I just know there's crumbs in there. I mean, by the size of it, it's not only crumbs, there's a whole fucking loaf of bread in that bitch. We also have 4 new hats.
You are so hard to take seriously wearing that hat.
Some very cute earrings, and if the Sims did want to start an Etsy... Wait, no, what's it called in The Sims for? Plopsy? My fucking shit goes plopsy when it hits the toilet bowl. There's no tattoos, which, if you ask me, is a big fat missed opportunity because I would like a tiny frog on a log in the bog. There's also no makeup. It's fairly obvious to me that they just can't beat their face like these British girls. Anyway, onto the clothes. For the feminine fits, we have cable knit on the tits. There's lots of embroidery, floral, ruching, and crop tops for when you're watering the crops.
Shut the hell up, bitch.
As always, the bottoms sit well on the bottom. They are not sitting on the hips, they are sitting directly on my asshole. I really thought we were leaving low rise in the past, but
Look how stressed my shit is.
this is serving nothing but hog bod, and we don't even have pigs in this pack. Next, we have the outfits, which are by far my favorite. I mean, I was spinning my sim around like a damn rotisserie chicken trying to see all the angles of the looks. I mean, they did the Sims version of the strawberry dress, and I would like to be strawberried in this dress. And there's also a moo-moo. Wait, did they add the moo-moo because cows go moo-moo? The masculine clothes, I don't really have a lot to say because there's a lot of plaid, a lot of dad and farmer lad, but I do really like the bomber jacket and the landscape knit jumper. Any man wearing that jumper can plow my crops. There's also wellies and some old maiden type shoes. She should have left them on the rack. And then finally, the kids and toddlers, I think, have all of the same hairs that the adults have, and an assortment of dungarees, puffer jackets, and this little animal bag. Unfortunately, the pig one does remind me of the swine himself, Shane Dawson. It is so cute, but I just can't unsee it. What a shame. We have 2 new traits, animal enthusiast and lactose intolerant, because apparently having an anal prolapse after eating dairy is a personality trait. I mean, at this point, if you want to be a vegan in The Sims 4, it has to take up 2/3 of your personality. I mean... There's also a new aspiration called Country Caretaker, which is once again a gameplay tutorial. But hey, animals eat hay. But overall, Creator Sim is pretty good. The vibes are pretty immaculate, I will not lie.
This ain't build a you don't get to smack my ass.
Welcome to Build and Buy, and here is my wet hole.
What was that?
Also known as a pond. 7 years into The Sims 4 and we finally have a pond tool. Although I think it's actually called the water tool because you'd be adding that drip drip.
Run it down my vagina.
It actually works with the terrain tools, so it basically fills an area with water. You can build houses and foundations pretty easily on top of it, change the watercolor, and even add little fishies, kissies for my fishies, and pond creatures like tadpoles, frogs, a frog on a log in the bog on my hog bod, and of course the native English crocodile. I mean, this tool does come with the base game, so it's not exclusive to this British themed pack, but when I first saw it, I thought, is this a fucking crock of shit? Are you fucking with me? Because I'm gonna need a fucking crocodildo. You can also stock the ponds with fish, but you have to have caught the type of fish before in order to do so. So once you've caught a rainbow fish, you can have a whole ass pride in your pond. There's also a thing called lot challenges, which, you know, I love some challenging gameplay. I played The Sims on hard mode. Off the grid isn't new, but this pack comes with wild foxes and simple living, which basically means that The Sims is now Minecraft or Animal Crossing, because if I want to cook something, I need to have all the ingredients in my fridge. And just like Animal Crossing, your produce can go off.
It's not funny, this is my life now.
So if you're saving all your turnips for that extra 10% at the fair, make sure your turnips don't go bad, or you might have to start flipping your nips for tips. For build items, we have some new wallpapers and floorings, which look like they came directly out of your nan's arsehole. Lots of wood and stone windows, including this one, which you cannot tell me is not fairy core. I mean, after the Winx live action, society needs healing. There's also some secret garden looking ass gates, stunning ivy and wisteria, and we also have thatched roofs with little animal decorations and dormers. But yeah, all I can think of is Thatcher Joe. I mean, who knows, maybe Salmonella and Alfie I'm Not a Tory Days live down the road. There's not a huge amount of buy objects, presumably because a lot of the resources went into making the animals in their sheds. There's a new kitchen set, so Tisha can cry on the contemporary farmhouse kitchen floor. And I mean, I know this is a crock pot, so does that make this next item a cock pot? We have a cross-stitching basket, a picnic basket, a Doctor Who phone box, and just in general, all of the furniture is really cohesive in terms of color and pattern, which my retinas do appreciate. They also gave us dirt. I mean, not the kind you were expecting from the Sims team, but there is a patch of dirt, which is actually for growing oversized crops in. I really like all the stuff that is here, but I'm a bit disappointed that there are no huge barn doors or any automated farming systems. I mean, I'd be happy with a fucking sprinkler at this point. And I know The Sims 4 doesn't really do vehicles, but a tractor.
Wait a damn
I
minute.
know The Sims 4 doesn't really do vehicles. I mean, you haven't been to the fucking British countryside unless you've had to drive snail's pace waiting to overtake the cast of fucking Emmerdale on their tractors.
How are ya?
Anyway, I decided to build a hobbit home for Tisha and Ethan so that Tisha could live a secluded life as a humble potato farmer after the downfall of her only farms. I ain't never seen Lord of the Rings, but I appreciate a short kick. So I guess this is now Lord of the Nuva Rings. I added a little bridge across the pond because Tisha loves burning bridges. And of course, I added the set of farmilies inside. And here we have it. The world of Henford on Schlagley. She's a proper slag. And yes, it is bang bang bong. UK hard. Once again, the lots were made by Game Changers, and once again I was snubbed of the opportunity, even though I do in fact live in England. But as always, I appreciate the quality of the houses because they were made by Game Changers. I think maybe the one thing that's missing is a church. Most English villages have a church as the center of the village because, you know, village people like to worship and pray. They got that whap. I don't have lice, but maybe I'm just nitpicking. I'd be brick picking. Okay, let's get into the meat of the pack. Sorry, Bessie.
Is that my bestie in a tessie?
So immediately upon entering the set of farmilies, I just had to buy Tisha some chickens. She's the motherfucking cock destroyer. I decided to name the coop Hennemies, inspired by the names of all my chickens. James Charles Chickenson, David Dochick, Tati Nesbrook, Shane Yeeyor, Gabby Henner, and of course Jafar Star.
Ooh, I'm about to sneeze.
There's actually no limit to how many animals you can keep. So 100 chicken babies challenge coming soon. The animals are objects and not part of your household. So you can actually, for some reason, size them up and down. So if you did want to create Attack on Titan with the colossal cock, you can be my guest. The chickens will run free unless you gatekeep them, but I prefer to let them chicken run. Also, you no longer need an alarm clock when you have an alarm cock. The hens will lay different types of eggs depending on what kind of treats you give them, and treats are pretty much crack for your animals. I mean, I gave them a flirty treats and my chickens started getting freaky with it. I think they've been watching too much hentai. This can give you hatchable eggs, which will turn into baby chicks. I named this one KFC Mookbong. She was a personal favorite of Tisha's. There's also cows and llamas, which unlike the chickens, you can only have one of per shed and they're confined to the grid area of the object. They provide different flavors of milk and colors of wool.
Mommy's milk.
I only had enough money for one animal, so inspired by Tisha's juicy milkers, this is Doja Cow. You can obviously milk the cow, socialize with the cow.
Do you know how much I love you?
And cow tipping, which is not what you think it is. We don't need to call our SPCA. Why the fuck we making it rain for a cow? I want to know. I was kind of expecting pigs to be in this pack, but considering all of these other animals produce, those little piggies would have been heading straight to the market, if you know what I mean. But Tisha recently cut ties with the only pig that she knows. But on that note, you can trade your animals for meat. Anyway, now that I had my animals, I decided to go out for a Sunday pub lunch because this pack actually comes with British food, the peak of cuisine. I got Tisha some bangers and mash and Ethan a loaf of milk, also known as cheese. Do you think it's cottage cheese? Did I mention that I made him lactose intolerant?
Cheated on him, yeah, I just cheated on him.
I also bumped into my bestie with the Bessie. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the stage, Miss Agnes Crumplebottom. Shuddy at the Crumplebottom jeans, boots with the fur. Boots with the faux fur. Mrs. Crumplebottom been swinging that purse harder than Kathy Nesbitt hit Abby Lee Miller. And luckily she does continue to do so in The Sims 4. If you flirt with her or just in her general proximity, she's gonna swang that fang at you. Mrs. Crumplebottom and Agatha work at the garden shop, which sell seeds, jams, wools, treats, and fertilizers, which I had to buy here since I had the Simple Living Lot Challenge on. There's also a grocery store, which you can buy stock for your fridge there, and you can also call a grocery delivery service to your home. Bitch, is this fucking Ocado? Get that bread delivered by Fred, then leave. Peace out. And in the base game, there's now Zoomer's Delivery, which is basically Uber Eats for The Sims. I don't know why it's called Zoomers, because Sims of any age can use it, including boomers, but not groomers, James.
The pizza's here, everybody. Woo!
So after our day out on the toon, we came back to the farmilies farm to start our crops. Now, usually the only hoeing Tisha does is not the farming type, but at least Ethan has farmed Bitcoin before, so he planted some of the oversized crops. Yes, your aubergine can now be extra hard and extra large. I mean, you cannot tell me the Sims team didn't know what they were doing in this trailer. You dirty pigs. Oversized crops can grow small, medium, or oversized, and obviously you get more bang for your cluck the bigger they are. They take about a week to grow, although you can speed that up with certain fertilizers. I had Tisha add some normal potatoes to the farm so that she could contribute something. Although we already know Ethan's gonna put more work in and take that extra 5%. The next day, I took our frenemies to the forest so that they could meet some of the local wildlife, like foxes, bunnies, and birds. I'm gonna go pick up some birds, innit? Although Miss Snow's shite over here decided to put on a whole show for the foxes. The foxes can break into your chicken coops and attempt to turn them into a Nando's restaurant if you're not careful. So you can peg them! You can beg them to stop, put a fence around your coop, or if your handiness skill is high enough, you can install a fox alarm. Although mine wouldn't fucking turn off. I mean, it sounded like my fucking brain every time I see a man out on the street after 7 p.m. at night. Alarm bells. Also, in my experience of foxes... Oh, he's escaping! The killer is escaping! Help me! A fence wouldn't fucking stop them. He's been bitches can do parkour. Bunnies and birds work similarly, although the birds aren't actually free. They only exist in tree stumps. They'll both give you gifts and you can ask them to help with your garden. And you can also name them. I named this one Peter Rabbit. P-E-T-A. You can't keep wild animals as pets. You can't! There must be another way. But you can unlock their homes and keep them on your lot once you're besties with the birds and the nesties. In the Bramblewood, you can also find fishing spots, although Tish do not fish. And the creature keeper, who I like to refer to as the creature creeper because he lived rent-free inside of my fucking asshole. I could not get rid of him.
Open the door.
Also, you cannot tell me this man is not human Shrek. He lives alone in a swamp, only speaks to animals, even his color palette is the fucking same. The creature keeper is one of the iconic locals that have main character status in Henford, which also includes Agnes and Agatha, the garden shop owners, the grocery owner, the delivery boy, the pub owner, and the mayor. Why can't I be the mayor?
I'm the manager.
All of these people will give you Finchwick favors, and you can also get errands from them to earn rewards, which is very Animal Crossing. The errands can be anything from baking a pie, delivering groceries, picking the town's signature cocktail, to finding out who the local gossip is. XOXO. Go piss girl. Gossip girl followed me on Twitter, sorry.
Clap if you care. Clap if you care.
One of my tasks from the creature creeper was to find mushrooms, and in return he gave me mushroom mash. Although I'm pretty sure it was shroom soup because Ethan's eyes were Animal Crossing and suddenly he had the ability to talk to birds. The birds work for the bourgeoisie. All of the pigeons died in 1982 when Ronald Reagan killed them and replaced them with spies. You can also buy little outfits for the animals from him, although I could not afford any at this current moment because I was waiting to sell my produce at the Finchwick Fair for that extra 10% profit. Thank God it wasn't 5%. Tisha would have been fuming. And just like that, it was now time for the first weekly Finchwick Fair. And up first, we had the chicken and the egg competitions. All you have to do is shove your chicken in your inventory and submit them as an entry. It's that simple. I probably would have had a better chance if I'd submitted a golden egg or any kind of special egg, but I had cluck all at this point. So while Stephen was being a cuck and trying to batter up the judge, Tisha decided to beat up the competition. Luckily, we didn't get disqualified for foul play. Is foul a bird? I did not come here to play today. But I went to the Finchwick Fair and all I got was this fucking participation ribbon. Luckily, earlier that day, I sold all of my produce for a lovely grand. But after that loss, they still had to walk home with their tails between their legs. It's a metaphor, don't start calling them furries. But with the money I had earned, I was able to buy a llama. Ladies and genitalia, welcome to the stage. Llama alert, Keemstar.
Keemstar's the worst person alive if you don't know anything about him.
I think it does make sense that there's llamas instead of sheep because the llama is the mascot of The Sims and both produce wool. Although if you don't have a good enough relationship with your llama, they have razor sharp reflexes and will attempt to shear you instead. I decided to get Tisha into cross-stitching because, let's be honest, the only dirt on Tisha is the kind that can get you cancelled, so she was not about to contribute to animals or gardening. Cross-stitching comes with a bunch of pre-made patterns, so I had Tisha create a beautiful live, laugh, lesbian stitch. And you can also stitch from reference, so I got a gorgeous close-up of Ethan's face because at this moment they were currently still frenemies, not enemies. She also began to get along with Agnes Crumplebottom of all people because of their shared love for cross-stitching and hatred for everyone else. I call it a stitch and a bitch.
I think you're fat.
Although later on in that day, Ethan and Tisha did get into an argument because Ethan was taking 5% more profits since he was doing all of the farming. I mean, the bitch was so lazy she hired a gardener to do her share of the work. I don't know if it was all of the gaslighting, but suddenly my house was lit on fire and then the firefighters just did this. What the fuck is going on here on this day? I just hope this isn't foreshadowing. We also lost our first chicken on that day. R.I.P. Gabby Henna.
I am the fucking victim.
All right.
And then Ethan was able to water the plants with his tears. I mean, after the argument, Ethan was feeling pretty bad, so one of his errands was actually to set up 2 villagers. So he gave a rose to 2 single Sims, Tisha and Agnes Crumplebottom. I mean, what the fuck is this, The Bachelor? And after being set up on a picnic date, the 2 quickly went from frenemies to lovers. Yes, Tisha did tap the Crumplebottom, but just as a side note, this is only possible if you add Agnes to the household, because she will never flirt unless you actually take control of her, and then she is replaced by a doppelganger. Finally, we have canning. I've written 4,000 words about this fucking pack and I'm not even nearly done. So I'm gonna fly through this part. Sorry to any chickens for that last comment. Canning is blending together ingredients to make jam, sauces, syrups, and custards. You can sell them, eat them, cook with them, and or use them in treats like chocolate treats, golden and midnight treats, which you can use to make golden or evil chickens. Here is Charlie and Dixie Demonelio. This is their final form. The next day, the cow fair came around and Doja Cow was looking brown cow stunning, if I do say so myself, especially in her new knit fit. Honestly, I really thought we had this one in the bag, considering we were the only cow to be entered, but somehow we came third.
Me and the mayor got beef now.
Speaking of beef, a whole week later, the garden fair came around, and unfortunately, the only growth Tisha and Ethan had been making was not in their relationship, but in the garden. Because Tisha decided to claim one of Ethan's potatoes as her own and won the whole fucking competition.
It was rigged. Rigor Morris, girl. It was rigor Morris, girl.
Who's Morris?
I mean, if Tisha was a drag queen, her name would be Mistake. Because she can't stop making them! Obviously, Ethan was feeling blindsided by Tisha clearly taking credit for his work, and after being called out for it, Tisha stormed off the set of Farmilies to take her anger out on a nearby evil chicken. But Jafar Star was not here to play chicken and handed her ass back to her on a plate. So of course the only logical solution is to trade the chicken for meat and serve him on a plate.
I woke up this morning feeling like a chicken nugget.
Well, you're fat.
I shouldn't have to walk on eggshells around everything I say.
Ethan was obviously angry about his beloved enemy being made into a roast dinner, so he kicked her out of the farm. But before she could make it off the lot, Dixie Demonelio attacked her and caused Tisha to cock-a-doodle die! Honestly, I'd say I'm surprised, but I always knew Tisha would die to a cock.
Bye!
Also, the chicken death ghost has a cock inside. It's a cock. It's got a fucking cock inside of it. Goodbye.
Sucking dick and cock.
I really think Ethan started to thrive once he was on his own. I mean, his fun was looking so green, he looked like he'd been finger banging Shrek. And at the final Finchwick Fair, Ethan's huge, massive, monster eggplant won the whole thing and slam dunked on the competition. And he took home a delicious profit of 25,000 simoleons. I'm in the wrong business. However, Ethan couldn't help but feel like he was still being watched. I mean, it was almost like she was still there making exposed videos on him. Not even death could stop her from haunting him. But the final straw was yet to come. And I mean, this was not any normal final straw. This was the final straw that would kill all of the turtles. He discovered Tisha's underground shroom farm. I mean, I know she was losing out on that extra 5%, but she didn't have to turn to shrooms. So he decided it was finally time to pull the plug on Farmilies and burn it all to the ground. Fuck-a-doodle you! Although with the extra 5% he'd been taking, he was able to move into a new, better farm and Tisha was left with nothing. The end.
You're a fucking cunt.
onto the review section of this video. I'm gonna keep it short and sweet, sweet and sour chicken.
Fuck you.
Because I don't really have a lot of complaints. In fact, I want to end this video so I can go play the pack some more. I really like that this pack isn't one of those one and done packs like we've had previously on Pretty Little Liars. I mean, I think this pack would pair really well with Get to Work. You can make your own homegrown bakery. Eco Lifestyle, you could have a completely self-sufficient eco farm. Realm of Magic, you could be like a homegrown herbal witch potion maker. Oh my god, if you have Get Together, you could make a club for a child labor farm. There's just so much you could do. So much. Maybe if you had a farm that you were passionate about, then you would know what it takes to run a farm, but you don't. The only thing I will say is this pack would have lent itself perfectly to fairies and horses. No, I am not a horse girl, but my assumption is that they will give these an individual packs. I'm sorry. EA, don't start writing notes right now. Also, I would have personally liked to see some more high production mass farming, because I think it would have made more of a distinct difference between the gardening that is already in the base game. Here comes the whole. Hello, Hall. Welcome. I think this is one of the best expansions for The Sims 4. Yes, EA's arsehole does taste delicious. Nom nom. Bon appetit. No, I am not being paid by EA to say this. Do you seriously think EA would pay me to make this video? Anyway, I'm gonna stop milking the watch time.
Mommy's milk.
I hope you enjoyed this video, and where's my dog? Do you have anything to add to the video? I hope you enjoyed this video, and I will see you in the next one. Or not.